And thanks for having me, Morten, and thanks for this very nice event. Yes, my name is Anders, and I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Family. We started 4.5 years ago doing one thing, and we're doing a slightly different thing today. At least, the vision has changed a little bit from where we started. I need this one as well. So, a little bit about us and what we do first. Maybe? There we go. So Family and what it is today, I'm going to explain you a little bit about where we came from, but we call ourselves sometimes the operating system for early education or the operating system for daycares, nurseries, preschool, so the ones that take care of our children. And talking about cluttered product, that's also one of the things that we have kind of struggled with, that we now are able to do a range of different things, right from your invoicing to your financial reporting to tracking the development of children, communicating with parents as well, planning of your staff, document handling, and so on. So there's quite a few things that we do now in this operating system for daycares and nurseries. A little bit about how it looks. So generally it's used both by parents to receive communication, pictures, updates during the day of what your child is doing in the nursery. And on the other hand, it's also used by staff, of course, to communicate, but also do a lot of administrative tasks, and by owners, admins, and so on. So we actually have various different stakeholders that use our product, right from parents, not children yet, but parents and staff and admins and coordinators, like owners of big nursery groups as well. And when we started out very much from the angle that we also see most of our competitors starting out now, from the parent angle, and hence the name Family. That was a project name at the time. We started out very much looking at from the parent angle, what would you need as a parent? We wanted to build this nice app, sort of a social network for the family, where you could get updates of what was going on from maybe your child in nursery, but it could also be from your school or from your spare time activities, or what your other family members were doing. So you thought of the family social network was kind of the initial idea, and we had a few meetings in the beginning. Henrik, my co-founder, got a little child at the time, a little daughter called Olivia. She started in a nursery and saw everything there was paper-based, so small notes back and forth, communication on a bulletin board, no one was reading it. And we thought, okay, if we need to get it into this app of ours, we needed to sort of be digital on the other end. So either we integrate with something that's existing in the nurseries, something that's already out there, or we have to build something for the nursery staff to be able to share pictures and communication, because it was primarily, the idea was a communication app and something where you could keep yourself updated. In the beginning, the tagline was sort of Facebook for nurseries, where you had a feed, as you can see here, as a parent. You get updates, you can like, you can comment, and all these sort of things. So that was all well and good, and we got the first few meetings with the first customers, and they really loved the idea. They were also willing to pay for it, so that was a good sign, of course. And we thought we're definitely on the right track. We're going to build a communication app, and we're just going to scale it globally, and that's all good. But we quickly found out that that communication, especially, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that on some of the next slides, especially when we moved outside of Denmark, the communication was probably a little bit too much of a nice to have thing. And running a nursery, you would be surprised, but running a nursery actually requires a ton of different admin stuff, which comes in as the first priority, and then making sure that your parents are happy and getting a lot of pictures and stuff like that, that is second priority. So the first thing, the first point I'm going to make today is, how to make sure to actually get value to the people that you're selling to and buying your products. And we were extremely focused in the beginning on providing value to parents, and that's all well and good because it's the customers of our customers. But At the end of the day, the pain point was not as much. We managed to sell, a lot of solutions, and we still do sell the kind of mainly communication aspect of the solution today. But we needed to add a lot more on the other side as well. When the owner or the manager needed to buy the product, they would usually ask us, so, what's in it for me? All my parents get all these nice things, and we have to upload pictures and videos and so on, but what's in it for me? And of course, we're able to phrase, things like, happier customers is also going to give you a better business and make sure you have less complaints. And we actually proved that, you get less complaints by running a nursery. But it's a very hard point to prove. So, yeah, my first point, who are you selling to? So, in our case, we were actually selling to, at least in Denmark, where we started out, we were selling to managers, owners. Luckily in Denmark, they also in nurseries had a parent board. So a board of parents that kind of were in on the decision. So providing values to them was actually a good thing. But we didn't provide a whole lot of value to the actual, like hardcore value to the actual nursery in the beginning. So we slowly, again, instead of focusing completely on the communication solution, which was nice to have and everything, but it also becomes increasingly hard to charge for communication features because it's sort of a commodity now with all the different platforms out there providing it for free. So we needed to make sure, first of all, the communication were tailored for the nursery segment, but also that we slowly then added more and more kind of admin features to our product. And that is even since we've gone to the UK and Germany and so on, it's just, yeah. It's worse and worse. We have to build a whole lot of admin to cater for everything here. So keep in mind who are your stakeholders in the sales process. We were too focused on the parents in the beginning, but should have looked even more at who's actually buying the product and who's taking the decision. So we meet in Denmark, for the matter, we needed to make sure that there was something in it for owners, there was something in it for the staff, because they would usually include the staff in the decision process. And there's something in it for parents. So we needed to make sure that we kind of covered all aspects. So in Denmark we also have attendance tracking, where you could sign the child in and out, and you can get statistics of your attendance. Was something that we have in the platform. Of course, keeping all your data, all your documents for your staff and everything like that in one place was also something that we added quite early on in Denmark. And your homepage, which was also something that you needed. So we kind of kept adding to the product. So in Denmark that model worked, quite okay. Parents were still involved somewhat in the decision process, and that's all good. So we managed to get that in. And we were also very far ahead in Denmark in terms of digital communication, which means that it's a whole lot easier to sell something like this, whereas in other markets where they're not so much focused on, where they're not so far ahead in terms of digitalization, there's other core problems that would need to be solved before you kind of provide that excellent app experience to your parents. And there's been talk about it before as well, but say no to the wrong customers. It's extremely difficult, I think, especially in the beginning, to say no to any customers. And we've always had the vision of, that if we need to build something, it needs to be something that adds value to everyone. But it is just extremely difficult when a big, group of 40 nurseries or 50 nurseries comes to you and say, hey, we just need this and this and this, and then we're going to buy a product. So in the beginning we had to embrace it, but we are also learning today, to be better and better at saying no to the wrong sort of customers, because otherwise we're going to end up building a million different features in the product, and that's not good in the long run. The second thing that we experienced and we faced was that we thought, okay, now we actually had this product with a little bit of admin, nice parent communication. Let's go to the UK and let's start selling it. And we got the first few meetings in London, in the high-end part of London, which was fortunately they wanted to meet with us, and they loved the product, and they said, hey, we're going to buy it right away. They even paid more for it than they wanted to pay for it in Denmark, and we thought, this is perfect. Let's keep going. Let's hire some salespeopeople in the UK, or let's hire them here, but they're going to sell to the UK. So we started to scale up the sales team here, and quite quickly found out that after we hired the first 3-4 people that it was not as easy to sell the product as we actually thought. There was something here that didn't really resonate. So we kind of had to take a step back, and I think that's my second point, is that it depends on your product, of course, but don't necessarily think that one market is equal to another. We almost had to restart that process of going to tons of face-to-face meeting customers, getting feedback, and making sure what kind of problems did they have, what do we need to solve. We found out quite early on that the core problem in the UK for our customers was the finance part, and we hadn't done anything about finance in Denmark, and we still don't do today, even though we have a lot of customers in Denmark. We don't do anything with the finance aspect. So we simply just had to build a whole invoicing system for the UK, and people can think, how hard can that be? You would actually be surprised how many different weird ways of invoicing your child that you have in a nursery. So the main difference between Denmark and the UK, just for those of you who don't know, is Denmark you would have all sort of, you either be part of a municipality, which 90% of the market is part of a municipality, so they would have the municipality take care of all the finance stuff, or you would be part of an organization that would kind of help you with it. Whereas in the UK, it's 90% private, the market, where you run your business like any other business. So if you need some tool to do your invoicing and your finances and your revenue projections and all these sort of things. And it gets increasingly difficult because you might have 100 different children on 100 different packages because no one is on full-time care because it's so expensive. So it just explodes in complexity. And we just had to solve that, and we now, 2.5 years later, we still, we're not quite there yet, but we of course far, but there's still a million different feature requests in terms of finance and what they want to do and how they want to solve it. So we very much underestimated, and spent too many resources in trying to sell a product that was not, sellable. And we sold a little of it, and that's of course where it gets increasingly difficult. You sell a little, but what is it? The product? Is it something else that's wrong? We found out that that we didn't have the right fit in terms of product, and we thought we could just take whatever we had in Denmark. So whenever again, it might be quick, it might be, you tend to do market research in the market and look at, what's the market size, what's the customer profile like, and so on. But we should have definitely dived more in depth into what is this customer, what do they actually need, what are the pain points? Is it the same as in Denmark, or is it just this, were we just lucky getting this little subgroup of customers that wanted our product early days, so only scale sales and marketing when products are ready. I think that goes, if you're starting out from scratch anyway, but it also goes when you're starting out in a new market. And you can see, I have this graph. I both have Denmark and the UK here, but we probably started our UK efforts around here or so. And you can definitely see that we didn't have a lot of product market fit here, even though during this time, we almost had the same people, in terms of sales, on the sales side. We've added a few on the way, but we almost had the same amount of people doing sales in the UK. And you can see here, then we start hitting something, and it took a lot longer. And then, now it's really taken off. And we managed to grow 22 times last year in the UK. But we could have saved, a whole lot of cost in the first part of the journey by not having, I would call it inefficient salespeople that are not able to sell your product. But you also know how it is. You want things to go fast. You want things to move. We didn't take, unfortunately, not the turtle approach. We wanted things to move fast. It ended up being the turtle approach, but we wanted to move fast and just through people at the problem, but that's not necessarily the solution. So yeah, my only 2 points today, or the more key takeaways that we kind of learned along the way in terms of product and selling to the right people, is you need to provide maximum value for the decision maker. And we still today, in the UK, they don't have a parent board. So, it's all fine and good with the parent features and that's all good, but we need to focus on the one that's actually buying the product, at least to get in there. Then it's nice to provide a good experience for parents, but if we don't provide a good experience and value to the decision maker, then we can forget about the rest. And the last one, really do your proper research on a new market, and don't just anticipate, don't just expect it to be the same as your home market. That was definitely a learning point from our perspective. I think that was it for me.